Okay, I didn't get a video out last week. I did do some filming about assembling the dashboard, but it all went a bit wrong. I was a bit too hasty in assembling it and the paint hadn't quite hardened off enough. So I ended up marking it in a few places and putting quite a few fingerprints in it. It's really cold and damp in here and I'm struggling to get the paint to dry. I have had the space heater running. And actually, funny story, I thought I'd use 2-pack paint. I like 2-pack paint. It goes on well, looks good, easy to work with. So I brought 5 litres of 2-pack Leyland light blue. Sanded the dashboard down again, primed it up, painted it with the paint, and oh, it looked like I'd pebble dashed it. And on inspection, the paint I'd been sold from a very reputable company was 5.5 years out of date. So they sent me a new can of hardener, which was in date, but obviously the base has gone funny as well because it's a disaster. And it's far too dark to be Leyland light blue. It's not far off the blue of the chassis. So I sanded the dashboard down again after the first coat and repainted it using the new hardener they sent me. Same result. So I sanded the dashboard down for the 4th time and the dashboard is now painted, looks good. I'm happy enough with it. And you'll also notice hanging behind me is the diesel tank, which I literally painted, pardon me, about an hour ago. I will show you the footage that I did film of me originally fitting the dashboard. But next week, we'll have a video of actually fitting the dashboard, finally. I've done a few other jobs that I haven't filmed. I bought new battery cables for the tractor there on it. And I re-wrapped the wiring loom with cloth loom wrap, so it looks nice. That is back on the tractor. You'll see that next week when we fit the dashboard. I've got a new tractor meter, which I think I filmed. You'll see that in a moment. And I'm going to get a new temperature gauge and oil pressure gauge because it's not doing my OCD any good having a slightly tatty looking oil pressure gauge. And the water temperature gauge, which I brought, has got water in it from being parked outside with no bonnet on. So that's got marks in it as well, and I'm not happy with that. So I'm going to get 2 new gauges for that. And we'll get that fitted in the next video, along with the fuel tank. Now, I have set the goal. I do want to hear this run before Christmas. So maybe it'll be a Christmas Day video. I've still got to paint all the fuel pipes. I've got to change, I'm going to put an O-ring in the fuel pump because that leaks diesel out where the throttle lever is. Only drips, but it wants mending, and that wants painting up. I've also got to paint the hydraulic tank because the fuel filter housing mounts to that. So I've got a lot to do in the next, 10 days to get this running. But I've got the works Christmas do out of the way last night, so now I am free to crack on and get this running. So I'm going to put together the rest of the video for you, which you will be seeing momentarily. I filmed it, you might as well see it. And it's good to show that cock-ups happen. And the dashboard's been a journey. I have bare metaled the dashboard 4 times now, but it's sat here painted. I've only just painted it the 2nd coat. I'm happy with it. It's good enough. It's pretty good actually. I've got 1 small run in the diesel tank, but it's so minor. I'll get rid of that. It's under the seat as well, but it's not enough of a run for me to worry about. Other than that, I'm very happy. I sanded this down this morning. Although I said when I was painting the tractor I didn't use primer, I don't use primer on cast iron things. They got plenty of rough surface for the paint to adhere to, and it doesn't need priming. But bits of metal work like this, I've been using a 2-pack primer. It's the best stuff to use in my opinion. It dries like concrete. It sticks well. The enamel paint covers it lovely. So yeah, I'm going to leave these here drying tonight and probably tomorrow. I'll let you enjoy the rest of the video now from, what, 2 weeks ago? So yeah, in 2 weeks, we've managed to repaint the dashboard 4 times. It's good to be thorough. And like I said, I'm not ashamed to admit my balls ups, and that's been one of them. So hopefully you enjoy the rest of the video. And if you want to hear this running on Christmas Day, don't forget to like and subscribe. I think we're up to 77 subscribers. It'd be great if I could get 100 by Christmas, but that's pushing my luck. So I'll be happy at this point, I don't know. If I can get 80, that's 3 more subscribers before Christmas. So if you're watching this, subscribe, please do. Even if you unsubscribe after Christmas, I don't care. But yeah, there we go. Diesel tank's painted. The dashboard is painted. I won't be touching it tomorrow. I'll give that a full 2 days to dry. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the video. Okay, here is our dashboard. It's not as complicated as it looked on the tractor. Well, it's not complicated at all anyway. Right, we got the battery tray. That's just a bit rusty looking. That one's cleaning up. And from looking at it, no, I think it was blue. Yeah, I did wonder if that wasn't painted black originally, but I think it was blue. Or it's black with blue overspray on. I'll paint it blue because I've already got to put blue in the spray gun. But these are the brackets. This has all got to go light blue. I have ordered the paint about an hour ago. I've ordered a tin of dark blue and 2 tins of light blue. But basically, we got to strip the dashboard off. I'm not replacing the wiring loom because I can't really see anything wrong with it. It doesn't look like it's had any bodged wires or anything like that, so I might rewrap it to make it look a bit better. But that, generally speaking, is good. But the rest of it is wants work. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take a load of photos on my phone of the wires, where they're routing, where they're plugging into. Although the wiring diagram is in the manual, and it uses Lucas standard wiring colours, so they're easy to deal with. I've ordered some blue with white stripe and blue with red stripe wiring to run the front and back lights on the tractors, because, well, we need wires for the lights or they don't work. So let's get this stripped down and see what we got to do with it. Yeah, let me just grab some tools. The resistor coil for the glow plugs, we don't actually need that anymore. The original glow plugs on this tractor would have been 9 volts. Hang on, let me bring you up so you can see me. I'll take you back here. Okay, the original glow plugs would have been 9 volts. That's so when you're cranking the tractor and you get the voltage drop, the glow plugs still operate at full voltage. You don't get 9 volt glow plugs anymore, you can only get 12 volts. I'd like to keep that because it's original. I'm just going to put a link wire across it so it gets the full 12 volts. But that all needs to come out anyway. And the glow plug relay. Blimey, that bolt undid. These are all, I don't think anyone's been in here for a long time. So we'll see what comes undone here and what doesn't. And we've got one bracket missing off the dashboard, which we're going to have to make. I'll show you that in just a second. I don't want to lose any of these little nuts and bolts because I haven't really got much in the way of little nuts and bolts. Got that one undone as well, but I need a Phillips screwdriver. Let me grab a Phillips screwdriver. I've actually cleaned up, as I said previously. Let's see how long it stays clean for. I'm not the tidiest of workers. But like I said, in this episode, I aim to get all this stripped down, painted, put back together and fitted on the tractor. The hydraulic tank mounts to this assembly, and the hydraulic tank is what the fuel filter bolts to, which is why I want to get this sorted. I'm going to put my nuts and bolts back in where they come out of so I don't lose them. So bear with me, let me put them on there. This little box is our glow plug relay, I think. Right, that's that. And we got this resistor. I should really go and get my cordless ratchet, but it's up the top. I was dealing with the Dicky Discovery last week, which is finally fixed. Turned out to be a bad injector, incidentally. Put that on that. Now, I have been studying this dashboard. Hang on, I need another spanner. I have been studying the dashboard, and it's I did wonder how you get the throttle linkage in it, but basically all this goes on before you actually put the dashboard on, and then you can get to the linkage. Like I said, I'm not going to be doing much with the wiring loom. I'll just clean it up a bit. I might rewrap it, and I'll replace any Dicky spade terminals. But I don't need a new wiring loom, so I shan't be buying one. I've also been looking at the back wheels whilst I've been cleaning up. Given how close to Christmas it is, I don't know that I would get them blasted and painted in time. So I'm considering, just as a temporary measure until next summer, just cleaning them up and painting them silver so I can get some wheels on the tractor. Haven't made my mind fully up on that yet, but I'm pretty sure. And I think I mentioned in the last one, I have made the executive decision. I am not putting the loader back on this tractor. I've put a lot of effort into this tractor, and I don't want to beat it up moving rubbish around with the loader. Right, there's one of the support brackets. That'll go dark blue, obviously, as it is now with the battery tray. The other brackets on here will go light blue. Now, the wires are crazy stiff. Now, this bracket here has got this little piece on it. This is what the little rubber straps hold the bonnet down on. And we are missing the one off this side. So we are going to have to make one of them. Somehow. We'll approach that when we get to it. Now, the regulator. I think the regulator works. The tractor's ammeter didn't really do much. It did move a little bit into charge when it was running, but it didn't really go down when you activated the glow plugs. And I think that was because the glow plug system, one of the wires was missing off the glow plug relay. I don't think it actually did anything. The tractor was a bit of a beast to start. I don't think the glow plugs were working at all. So that probably is the reason for that. One hopes anyway. Now I have got some of these Luca connectors hanging around. Let me get another pair of pliers. See if they come off. When they do, get a bit of the old WD. That'll help with them. I've already taken the temperature gauge out the dashboard because I didn't want to damage the capillary pipe on it. They're quite fragile, which is one of the reasons why I want to get this in, because all the cables and whatnot for the engine run under the battery tray, and it is impossible to get them in with the battery tray in. Oh, one of them's undoing well. And I know this oil pressure pipe's a little bit bent out of shape, but only a tiny bit. We can straighten that up when we put it back in. Try and get that off. I said I was going to take pictures of this, but I'll have to rely on my photographic memory, because I haven't. Luckily, I never really forget anything. And if I did forget something, I can't remember what it was, so there is logic in that somewhere. Oh. I don't think this has been off for many years. Oh, that's tight. Doesn't help, they're not even nuts, they're just little gnarled thumb wheels. Oh, I'm fighting it, I'm fighting it. I'm fighting it. This will be a 20-minute video of me fighting one nut off. I think we're there. We are there. That should get our oil pressure gauge out. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to undo the... I'm going to throw that spanner on the floor and find one that fits that oil pressure pipe. This is quite novel, putting everything away. I can actually find stuff. I think that's a 1/2 inch. No, must be a 9/16. I bet it's not a 9/16. I bet it's some bizarre size. Is it 9/16? It is 9/16. Right, there we go. There is our oil pressure gauge. I'm going to put all the nuts back on it, because like I said, I haven't got any. I bought a new horn push button for this, and it's sat behind here and gone rusty, which unfortunately is an issue of the tractor living outside. Right, there is our oil pressure gauge feed pipe. Just wants a bit of cleaning up. We've got to clean the, not clean, I've cleaned them. We've got to paint the diesel pipes up as well. And for anyone who's ever done it, I hate painting pipes. You waste so much paint. It's shocking. Right, ammeter, whatever you, how do you pronounce that? Actually, they're on spades, so we can just put them off. There's our ammeter gauge, and that lives... I don't know why they done this. The ammeter is obviously a smaller diameter than the other gauges, so they fit this rubber donut for the ammeter to sit in to fill the hole. Why didn't they just make the hole in the dashboard smaller to fit the ammeter? It doesn't make no sense. Right, we got the glow plug light, which are on Luca connectors. Can we get that out now? Well, we'll wrestle that out in a minute. We've got the ignition. I might buy this a new ignition, because the key never wants to come out. And this, like I said, this tractor had been living outside, but I think I'm going to find a home for it when it's done. Geez. I think we're going to want a new ignition switch. It's just not very good. Get a good old pair of mole grips on that. Not those mole grips though, because I've got a big blob of weld on the end. My mole grips are all looking rather worn out. I think I need some new ones. Try and get that on that. Jeez. That is on there. See if I can find a spanner to fit that. This is the problem with filming the actual repairs. I don't know how long it's going to take. So you end up with a bit of backwards and forwards in. Ah, she's coming now. I'll have a look at this ignition switch and see if it can be cleaned up. But one of my pet hates is when something doesn't work like it's supposed to work. This drives me mad. When just getting the key out the tractor becomes a chore. Right, that is that out. Now the last thing left in here, which didn't seem to want to move, was the regulator. But apparently that just wanted hitting with a spanner. That leaves our dashboard, which other than a little bend, I don't know whether you can see that, I'll try and straighten that out. I think that just wants a good painting. I'll get the horn switch out. Now, not all of these have a temperature gauge, I've noticed. I don't know whether this was added on or whether they fitted them to some and not others. We've got the ignition key, the knob to the pull, this tractor you pull a knob to stop the engine, the glow plug light and the horn push button. I don't know what this switch done. The rattle cab only had wipers on it and the wiper switch was on the cab. So whatever that switch done, I think we'll get rid of it. I'll have to weld that hole up. Other than that, oh, we need a new light switch as well because all the terminals have broke off the back. But let me get that out. That is our wiring loom, a main battery cable. I'll go for, I'm not going to film me going through that. You've got to draw a line in the sand somewhere. I'm going to go all through that, clean it up, make sure all the connections are good. And I think I'm going to re-wrap the loom just so it looks a bit prettier. But that, for the moment, I'm going to put to one side. So we got a couple of bits to get off the dashboard, which I'll look at now. Just a couple more switches. This bracket's probably the most pressing thing on here. Straighten the bottom of this dashboard out. I'll pull that rubber off. That rubber's new. Well, it's only 6 months old. I'm calling that new. So we got that bit and that bit. I'm going to put these to one side. the battery tray. We got this little grommet here, which I think is what the stop cable goes through. If the stop cable was never on my tractor, but I can't think of anything else that would come through that grommet. And it obviously had something through it. I've got a broken clip here for a battery cable I've got to get off. And the horn doesn't work. But these old horns, if I remember rightly, they've got points in them, which make them work. So hopefully, get my spanner off the floor that I stored down there earlier. Hopefully I can resurrect this horn. Let me get that off. We'll treat that as a little separate project. Let me get that off there like so. I'm going to put the nut and bolt back in that. So that's the horn. We've got to look at that. Sometimes if you put power to them and just hit them with a hammer long enough, and then when they start going, let them run for a bit and they come back to life. They're pretty basic inside. So we'll put that over there. Like I said, the battery tray, there's nothing on it. It just wants a bloody good clean up and painting. Luckily I would say it's not rusty. There is some rust on it, but it's very superficial. There's no holes. She's solid as. So that is our battery tray. We got to clean that up. That's just the other bit of the dashboard that the steering wheel comes through. Steering wheel, the throttle through that hole, and the tachometer, the rev counter, goes through that hole. And we got a little retaining plate. That wants cleaning up and painting. Okay, got the dashboard cleaned up and got all the switches out. I've got to weld this hole up. We don't need it. I don't know what it was for. I've also got a screw hole in the side. And the temperature gauge obviously isn't factory because of the burrs on the inside of the hole. But I'm keeping the temperature gauge. It's nice to have a temperature gauge. I'm not going to go to town on the inside. I've cleaned it up. I've put some rust cure on that. That'll get painted light blue, but I don't need a mirror finish in there. The outside looks pretty good really, other than those holes. Okay, I've got the dashboard cleaned up. Put them down there. The dashboard's all been cleaned up and primed. I've deleted the extra hole we had. We didn't want that one. And the hole on the side. That just wants a little bit of flattening off with some wet and dry. And that can be painted light blue, as can the binnacle. And that little bracket there, which covers up the steering column. And I've still got to mend. These are the other two bits of the dashboard that go light blue. And we are missing one of these little eyes. Is what the rubber straps for the bonnet go through. That way. We're missing one. I've got some 1.5mm plate here, but I need some 2mm plate because I think 1.5 might be a bit bendy. But I'll go and hunt out a bit of 2mm plate later. Okay, progress has been made. I have got the dashboard painted Leyland light blue, along with the... Okay, my battery went flat there, so I don't know how much of that you've seen, but I have got the... I'll bring you around in a moment and show you. I've got the dashboard and the cow painted up. I'm just trying to assemble it enough that I can do the wiring. Okay, the postman's just been and brought me something at quite a fitting moment. Can anyone guess what it is? No? Okay. Would you look at this? A brand new tractor meter. I've always called them tractor meters. It's a rev counter. I could be wrong, or I could be really clever. Let's be honest, I'm probably just wrong. Let's get these clamps off. This is quite exciting. I'm only going to loosely place this in here because I've got to tackle this screw that I can't get to now. But that should fit in there just like that. Look at that. Nice. Nice indeed. Okay, so where have we got to then? Right, the dashboard is painted, the battery tray is painted. Still got one bracket to fix. I've got to rewrap the wiring loom. I've got a new ignition switch coming today. I've got a pull to stop cable here somewhere, but you know, buggered if I can find it. But it's here somewhere. I'm not buying another one. I know I've got one. My temperature gauge is relatively new. But the oil pressure gauge is looking rather crusty. It's just looking a bit sad. I think I'm going to get a new one. Then all my gauges are new and they'll all look good. I haven't painted the throttle arm because that's patina. That's showing its years of hard graft, that lever, and it wasn't painted from new. So I've left that just as it is. So yeah, there we go, the starts of the dashboard. I'm going to call that a video here. Let me get you around like that. I'm going to call that a video. I'm going to get the wiring loom wrapped tonight and fish out the other bits I need to finish this. So there will be another video at the weekend, hopefully with a complete dashboard and the wiring in. Then we can move on to some of the bits that make the engine work, the diesel pipes, the fuel tank. The diesel pipes I've cleaned up, but they need priming and painting. There's lots of them. And anyone that's, painting pipes is a nightmare. Doesn't matter which angle you come at, you'll miss a bit. But I think that's looking pretty good there at the moment. I'll just show you that little teaser. I know I'm going to spend some time looking at it. But look at that. Let's zoom you in there. We have a new Speedo. Very nice. Right, that's it for this video. If you don't want to miss out on this excitement and you haven't already, please like and subscribe. I actually get an awful lot of viewers, but not many of them make it past the 5-minute mark, and none of them subscribe. So if that's you, please do subscribe. It costs you nothing. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.